In this episode of the SPS podcast, we are talking about how to get unstuck. Are you struggling right now? Are you a little bit frustrated? Are you spinning your wheels? Well, check out this episode and 6 ways that you're going to be able to get unstuck pretty quickly. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Self-Performance Strategies podcast. Unlocking the secrets of self-performance so you can improve mentally, emotionally, and physically. The goal of this podcast is to help you create more freedom of time, money, and purpose. My name is Stephen, and I am your host. I believe there is always an easier way, and I am here to help you find it. Hello. Welcome to the SPS podcast, to the 17th episode of the SPS podcast of the Self-Performance Strategies podcast. In this episode, I'm going to take a quick deep dive into how you can get unstuck. But are you stuck? Are you stuck in life? Because being stuck sucks, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit before jumping into these 6 little strategies I'm going to share with you. But first of all, like I do in every episode, let's frame this conversation with a quote. And today's quote comes from Narayana Murthy. Growth is painful. Change is painful, but nothing is as painful as staying stuck where you do not belong. This is a great quote. I say that about all the quotes in my podcast that they're great, but quotes are great. They really do help frame a conversation. And this one is going to help us frame this conversation because you do not belong being stuck. You're not built to be stuck as a human being. You are built to move towards your goals. You're built to do great things. You're built to create. You're built to love. You're built to have fun. And that's what I'm going to help you do more of in your life. I'm going to help you get unstuck because being stuck sucks. You've been there. I've been there. We've all been there, grinding away, but you're feeling like you're standing still as life moves past you. Like a time-lapse camera, everything's moving fast around you, but you're standing still. It happens a lot. It happens often, especially when you let the wrong activities deplete your energy. The good news is that a few changes can make an incredible difference in your life. And I know this from personal experience. These 6 little strategies I'm going to take you through, 1 or 2 of them have helped me in difficult situations and being able to turn things around quite quickly. But something that I say quite often and something that you're probably aware of, life is simple, but no one said it was easy. You will have heard of these ideas that I'm going to talk about in this podcast before. Pretty much every idea that you come across, you've probably heard an element of it before. But it's whether you've actually taken action on it. It's whether you've actually sat with for a while and actually developed the skill of doing it in your life. But one thing I will say is that the concepts that will help you are always the fundamentals. When you break it down, it's about coming back to the same habits, the same routines, the same ideas, but just at a deeper level. The simple, repetitive habits you do daily are what matters. Complex ideas and systems don't help you grow. Big, complex, difficult, crazy processes and crazy habits and, to fix this, I'm going to have to do 25 different things. That's not how you grow in life. You grow by using these simple foundational habits over and over and over and over again. Find a few habits you can do daily, stick with them for 6 months, and you will see a massive difference in your life. Because when you get stuck and you have these habits as a skill set, you will be able to use them to quickly pivot, adjust, change, and get out of the rut, get out of being stuck quite quickly. But what are these 6 little habits or routines or ideas or strategies that I want to discuss with you? Well, the first one is all about regulating your mood, whether that's through journaling, going for a walk, or meditating. You're stuck and you don't feel good because your emotions are affecting your performance. When you have the systems that I just mentioned, like journaling, walking, meditation, they allow you to switch your focus quite quickly. They allow you to start focusing on your wins and your vision for life. They ground you back to your actual goals and the targets that you have in your life, your values, your mission statement, whatever that is for you. Finding a way to regulate your mood with the right daily systems will produce the energy that you need to get you unstuck. Now, in my own life, I can tell you that meditation and journaling are massive foundations in my life. I have no idea the type of person I would be right now if I hadn't started meditating 10 years ago, roughly. And over the last couple of years, 18 months, I would say my journaling has doubled or tripled or even more than that in the amount of journaling I'm doing. And I've been able to see that that has dramatically pushed my emotional intelligence or helped me dive deeper into anchors and barriers that I have. So these two habits alone, I'm not even talking about going for walks. That's a whole different podcast about walking's absolutely fantastic for you. But to wrap up this first little strategy, not regulating your mood is one of the reasons why you're stuck. So if you're feeling stuck right now, regulate your mood. Dive deep into your emotions. Figure out why you're feeling stuck and try to fix it. It's simple. It's not easy. The second strategy that you can use to help you get unstuck is to be more consistent. Now, a lot of times we get to success because we're consistent, but a trap off success is once we get a little bit of money coming in, we get a promotion or whatever that may be, we drop the core habits that got us there. We get to this plateau and we stop doing the things that drove us to the peak. And that's a massive mistake. And we can drop consistency at that point because we feel like we've won. Well, I don't need to go to the gym now 3 times a week because I hit my weight goal. Or I don't need to meditate every morning because it helped me get rid of my anger issues and I was able to get promoted. It happens all the time. We get to a certain point, peak, result, we stop doing the things that got us to that result and then we get stuck. And then to get unstuck, we start jumping from idea to idea. We open so many projects, we end up with many open loops, and then we miss out on the magic of compounding because we deviated from our plan because we got a little bit of success. So, to get unstuck, we need to go back to the habits and the routines and the skills that we were using, and we need to show up consistently in these key areas to help us move the needle forward again in our lives. I experience this trap every year during the off season from playing soccer, football. I don't play weekly. I don't do training during the summertime or during the spring months. And then the month or so before the soccer season starts in September, I'm out trying to get my fitness back. Now, if I had stayed consistent with my training the whole year, I wouldn't have these massive dips of cardio fitness and these massive dips to try to climb back up to get ready for the season. And it happens every year. It's happening right now. I can tell you right now, we're in mid-August when this podcast is being shot. The season starts in early September in about 3 weeks. And my life currently is just basically doing work and then thinking about what kind of exercise I can do today that's going to help me limber up for soccer season, get my cardio back and get ready so I can get out on that pitch and not feel completely wrecked the first 4 or 5 games of the season. So yeah, I still fall into this trap into my life of not being consistent and then having to get back into being consistent to get unstuck. It's such a trap, such a bullshit thing. We know about it, but yet we keep falling into that trap all the time. Moving on to the third strategy that you can use to get unstuck. And again, it's a really simple one, super simple one. Learning. Yeah, learning new things. Picking up a book that you haven't read in a while or picking up a new book. We have a tendency to maybe sit and rest on our laurels a little bit and not learn new information. And because we're not learning new information, we're not getting new ideas, and those new ideas aren't helping us reflect on our current actions or reflect on our past actions and allowing us to maybe change the way that we look at a past situation or change the way we look at our current situation. And that's why learning and bringing new high quality ideas in consistently is a great habit to have that actually helps you not to get stuck. Because listening to a random podcast or an audiobook in and around your area of interest, whatever niche you're in, you're listening to something that's going to help you with your personal development, your business development, your marketing, your sales, whatever that is, constantly learning high quality information will help you get out in front of any mistakes you're making or help you get unstuck. Failure is only failure in life if you're not learning from it, and failure happens when we stop learning. So a fantastic strategy to help you get unstuck and to prevent you from getting stuck is to be constantly looking to new information with purpose. Just don't listen to new audiobooks and new podcasts just because I'm telling you should be listening to new information. Make sure that that information is related to something in your life, because that's also another trap that you can get into. We're talking about getting stuck here, but the personal development trap or the learning trap of just learning for the sake of learning is a massive trap, which I've maybe talked about before in another podcast, and I will talk about again in future podcasts. But all your learning should be with a purpose, especially if you feel like you're getting stuck. That's when you need to really make sure your learning has a purpose. The fourth strategy that will help you get unstuck is creating more freedom for you to focus on what matters. Yeah, again, super simple. But when was the last time you give yourself 4 or 5 hours of one day just to focus on one thing? When was the last time you changed your environment and decided to go and work in a coffee shop, or decided to go and rent an Airbnb or a workspace and completely change your environment and just go and sit somewhere and create freedom to focus on the thing that you're stuck on, or to think about why you're stuck? When we stay in our little capsule, when we stay in the same situation every single day, we get used to the distractions. We get used to doing things a certain way. We get used to the patterns. So if you're feeling stuck, you need to create that freedom to focus. You need to create more freedom for you to think differently. Change up the mental connections in your mind. Because if you're just doing the same thing repeatedly every single day, your brain will get used to it. You'll look at the clock at a certain time of day. You'll go to the toilet at a certain time of day. You'll just keep repeating the same actions over and over again, and that can lead to you getting stuck. So the fourth strategy that helps you get unstuck is creating the freedom to focus and the freedom for your mind to think differently. And how you do that in your life, that's up to you. Personally, I like switching up my environments. I like going for walks at different times a day. I like going out with the dog and maybe driving somewhere different with the dog and taking the dog for a walk somewhere else. I do little small things that I'm intentional that every single day isn't the exact same walk and the exact same routine, that I'm doing things that keep my brain fresh, and that allows me to create different connections in my mind. And then if I'm really struggling with something, I will create a couple of hours in a day for me just to focus on one thing. But typically it's not even focusing on one thing, it's ignoring the world and allowing my brain the freedom to reset by going for a longer walk, listening to binaural beats, and just getting away from the noise. And that resets the brain and then allows me to come up with whatever struggles or whatever I'm stuck with. It allows me to come at it with a fresh mind, different perspective. Or you realize you weren't even stuck. You realize you were just in your mind. You're building a concrete wall of frustration in your brain, and you go for a 2-hour walk and you come back and you realize that wasn't a concrete wall of frustration. It was a piece of wet tissue paper that I built into a wall in my mind, and I could just poke my finger through it and be like, yeah, didn't even exist. Let's get back at it. So there you go. Create more freedom to focus for yourself. The fifth strategy that we're going to talk about, and we've already touched on this a little bit, is creating momentum in your life. And this does correlate quite a lot to consistency, because I feel like consistency and momentum are quite similar in a sense, because when you're building consistency, you are going to build momentum. But the different angle I'm going to come at momentum with is that while consistency is doing the same thing repeatedly, or the same set of habits every day or every couple of days, and you're building that consistency with your habits, momentum for me, while similar, it's about focusing on what's important and getting that big, high dollar, high value stuff done at the start of each day first. And then that allows you to build momentum, not only in your days, but in your weeks. So if you're consistently doing high dollar and high value activities first thing in the day, you're building consistency. But then if you keep doing that, you're building momentum in your business, in your life. So it's slightly different than consistency, because you get momentum by knocking down those big dominoes. Now, you could be very consistent in answering all your emails. You could be very consistent in answering all your notifications. But the question I have to ask here is, are those notifications and emails and all that busy work, is that really essential? Is that going to build momentum in your life and in your business? Probably not. So that's why I'm making the difference here between momentum and consistency, that you build momentum by focusing on the big levers in your business and in your life, the things that get you paid, the things that make you feel healthy, mentally, emotionally, and physically. You want to be doing those first. And a lot of the times with the clients I work with, and even in my own life, I can tell when I'm stuck, I am not focusing on those mental, emotional, and physical levers that are important to me first thing in the day. If you're stuck, make sure that you are looking to build that momentum by focusing on the really important things for your life and for your business first. The sixth and final strategy that we're going to talk about in the 17th episode of the SPS podcast is having more fun. Yes, having more fun in your day and in your life will help you get unstuck. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Having fun is 100% important every single day. Having fun is completely different than distracting yourself with Netflix or TikTok. Having fun is intentional. Having fun is an attitude. Having fun is making sure you're laughing every day. When you focus on having fun at least once a day, when you focus on doing some type of peak experience at least once a week, you're allowing your brain to relax. You're giving yourself healthy dopamine hits, and that will help you get unstuck, because when you're laughing with a friend or you're having a good time with the people around you, you're not stuck. You are filling yourself full of energy. So it's a performance strategy that a lot of people miss. Have fun. And fun is a mindset. Having fun is how you approach your days. So if you're feeling stuck, the sixth and final strategy is look to implement more fun in your days. And don't make it robotic, please. Fun isn't something that you schedule at 3:15 in your day. Fun is something that you just come with fun. You just make fun part of your life. Again, it's simple, but it's not easy, especially if you're stuck and you're frustrated and you're in the hole right now. And I'm telling you on a podcast to go and have some fun, and you're like, go away, Steve. Piss off. I'm struggling right now. I don't need to hear you tell me to go and have fun. But yeah, I'm telling you, go and have some fun. It's actually really going to help you get unstuck in your life. So yeah. Your time away from work should be fun. Your time at work should be fun. Try to insert as much fun as you can into your days, and you will get unstuck quite quickly. Thanks very much for joining me for the 17th episode of the SPS podcast on how we can get unstuck in our lives with 6 key ideas. I hope you got a lot out of this episode. As always, if you want to hit me up on my socials, I'm at Steve Timoney on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. I hang out mostly on Twitter, but that's at SteveTimoney. Or you can slide on over to my main website, which is Stephen Timoney, StephenTimoney.com, and check out all the other episodes of the podcast and everything else to do with me, StephenTimoney.com. It's me.com. Anyway, thanks very much for joining me. Hope you got a ton out of this one, and we'll see you in the next one. Make it a good one.